Hey guys, it's Mike with another King Arthur's Legends Rise video. Today we're actually going to jump into the restricted area and start looking at the dungeon, specifically Plane of Beasts. I've been spending a lot of time with my newfound heroes now that I have some choices and some different upgraded champions to try to put together teams that can push me along in these dungeons. I am going to come out with another version of this for each of the dungeons, but we're going to start here with the Plane of Beasts. This is probably the most important dungeon in the sense that you're actually going to be able to advance your champions so that you can move from 4 to 5 to 6 stars. That is probably the best way to get better power on your champions. So these orbs down here are going to be the key that you need in order to unlock that. So specifically on Plane of Beasts, what we're trying to do is get to a minimum of level 7. On level 7, we begin to get those mythic orbs. That's where you can get your characters to 6 star. So I did go through a lot of videos online trying to find optimum builds and optimum teams, and there are a lot of different things out there. I actually came out with a slightly different strategy just because I feel like it's going to be a little more robust. It's definitely not fast, but it does work. The tough thing with Pinvid the boar is he's kind of immune to a lot of different things. Ultimately, what you're looking for is multiple hits, which are all the teams that I've found are really heavy on multi-hitters, which helps. By all means, it helps, and doing damage helps. But I did kind of find a workaround. But as you look at these folks' kit, a lot of what they're talking about is just hitting multiple times. I don't know that you can really land debuffs on Pinvid. Maybe defense down. I noticed you get an attack down occasionally, but you can affect his turn meter. So Morgan is going to play here very well. But ultimately, everything they suggest is just multi-hitters. What I found was it actually, if you make your team a little tankier and just kind of outlast him and make sure you can handle his damage, that pretty much will take care of itself over time. So I was stuck on Plane of the Beast level 7 for a long time, and then within the last day or two I started messing around with teams and I got to press on all the way to Plane of the Beast 9, and I would probably say a 95% success rate with the team I put together on Beast 9. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite do Beast 10, but I am hopeful that it could with some minor upgrades. So the team I actually settled in on is this team right here. We got Morgan, Kay, Nika, and Turin. Now, to be fair, Nika, obviously not everybody's going to have her. I don't think that Nika is necessary. What we're looking for is a secondary AoE healer. So this could be Sarah, I think Isolde, it could be, I'm trying to think of the other one. There's another one. Oh, Clementine. It could be the little fairy girl, Arduin. I think all of them have AoE healing abilities that would function in this space. Ultimately, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for Kay to do all of the hits, basically. Morgan, we're going to spam her A2, which is a double hitter. But for the most part, Kay is going to be doing all the work for us. And we have 2 healers just keeping us topped off in health. The main goal here is that all of our folks can withstand the damage that the boar brings and from a full state of health. With both of these folks working on healing, you will be topped off with health all the time. But if some of those hits come in pretty hard, if you can't live through the hit, then you might need to work on HP or defense for that particular character. But we're going to jump in here and show you how this team works. All right, I tried to pause it. It didn't work out. So Pinvid got his initial hit on me, and that's what's going on here. I am going to put it on auto so you can see it's a fully functioning auto team. This is not fast. All of our damage is coming from Kay, and her build is, I'll say, fairly mediocre. I have a lot of opportunities in gear. But the goal here is that I sustain all the damage that he's able to put on me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go jump in here and take a look at how I've got this set up. Right now with Kay, it doesn't matter what hit. This is an AoE that hits 4 times. This helps you get through the tusks and take the tusks out. So I say go ahead and use it. If she's going against the shield, go ahead and use it. This is a 4-hitter, and then her A1 is technically a 5-hitter. So this would be better against the shield if you wanted to manual it. But these are going to do more damage. So once you get the shield down, you want her to use her A2 and A3. So it just kind of depends. But I would say that leaving hers open is good. Morgan is basically going to spam her A2 all the time. because she's got a vigor set. I think actually everybody on this team is in a vigor set. And then Nika also presses vigor along as well. But if you had everybody in a vigor set, I don't think Nika's ability is really going to be necessary. So you have the A2 where you can bring the turn meter down of the tusks as well as the boar. And then we're doing the AoE heal or the single target attack / heal. AoE heal, single target attack / heal. We're ignoring their A2s. So as we go into this, you're going to notice like up here, we're not going to get a lot of debuffs on the character. We're basically just going to be plugging away. I might actually put on 2 times because I think 1 times is like half speed. 2 times seems fairly reasonable. So we're going to be coming through here so we can kind of see what's happening. We've already got ourselves topped off with health again. We've got these buffs up. Now the buffs are going to be specific to Nika and Turin, so those would vary depending on the healers you brought in here. But the key thing is that your healers are AoE healers. That way everybody's going to be topped off all the time. The boar can kind of take as many turns as he needs to, and as long as we get a chance to get back to our A3s, we're going to just stay topped off. Later on, when the boar summons the Meteor Strike, that's I think his strongest ability that does the most damage. You'll see that would be the one that kind of gets us a little bit close. But in this particular team, I am running Morgan as my lead, whereas Nika does have a lead ability. I believe it's in all battles where she brings in an extra 20% HP. So if you did have a healer that had some extra HP or some extra defense or something to help your team be a little tankier, it would be a benefit. But as you can see, we've got rid of his tusks, so now it's just us and the boar. We got 16 hits to get through here. Kay's doing her work with not just her A1, A2, and A3. All of them are 4 or 5 hitters. So she's going to basically take the entire shield off the boar. It does take a couple turns because we got to hit him 16 times. But you can see our health here is just staying topped off. I believe when you lose the tusks, that's when you get the attack down on Pinvid. I'm not entirely. I don't think there's any attack down on my team. I know Morgan. My phone just vibrated. It scared me. I know Morgan actually does a defense down. I believe on her A2. It might be on her A3 ability though, but it never lands. So he's got. You can't really use Dot on this champion. He's going to get 10% of the damage Dot's going to take. It's not going to be a benefit, and he's immune to all abnormal status for the duration of the fight. So, and I don't know that you can strip these buffs off of him. If you had a buff stripper, I don't know that I do, so that's kind of why I'm moving this direction. But if you had a buff stripper, this could be a benefit to try to remove these things so you could try to do a little more damage to him. But you can see that her ability to bring his attack gauge down or his turn meter down does work and does function. So you'll see, hopefully I land, there you go. So it brought him all the way down to 0. So Morgan here is going to basically be doing that plus a double hitter, and then Kay is there doing all your damage. 2 healers are more than enough to keep you topped off. So this strategy I think would absolutely work early on level 1 all the way up through, I think it'll work on level 10. I just don't have everybody decked out yet. And you can see here Nika is actually level 50. She's only 5-star. So I haven't even 6-starred her or got her to level 60. So I think that if I were able to do that, I think that would be enough for me to get through Pinvid on level 10. But you can see, I mean, obviously not fast, very slow. I mean, we're doing 2 times speed too. But we were never in danger there. Like everything worked really well and very seamless. So if you're looking to come in here and farm these orbs, I need 10 more so I can upgrade Nika to 6-star. This is going to be a great way to do that. And one thing I will bring up too is like it's not quite as necessary to have this team be super fast. When you come in here and do 3 times, you're using 42 stamina, you're only going to run that 4 or 5 times. So you can hit repeat battle, walk away, come back in 10 minutes, and they're probably all done. So as long as you have a consistent outcome, it's more important than necessarily being fast. Later on, as you build the characters up and build them, then being fast will be a huge benefit. But right now, for where I am, I'd probably say I'm late early game. So I'm probably starting to kind of graduate into the beginning sides of mid game is where my team is. And so to have a team that can farm this consistently is going to be pretty big for me. So if we take a quick peek at the builds, we were talking about building with purpose. In a previous video, we've got Morgan here, her entire purpose is fast and land and effect accuracy. That's her entire thing, is as fast as I can get her and effect accuracy. So we got attack speed here. We have hit accuracy, so we have some opportunities there. We have attack speed, hit accuracy. Again, missing that effect accuracy. We got attack speed. All those have double rolls, so we're getting some pretty good speed out of her. Here we have effect accuracy as our primary stat, getting 21%. It's a big chunk. Attack speed would be better if this double roll right here was attack speed. If we come into here, we come in and attack speed again, we're at a roll of 2 on there, and then down here we got attack speed as the main stat. If we had a 5-star or 6-star, that would be even better, but we did get some effect accuracy on this one as well. So essentially that is all we are doing for her, is as fast as we can get her and effect accuracy. That's what we want. So again, coming in here, we only got 13% on a 3-star. If we had another effect resistance, yeah, see, I've got trash gear. I need better gear. I'm working on it. That's why I'm late early game. So I'm still working on it. And again, attack speed. So when we break this down, her stats, initially I was at like 166. I have pushed on her attack speed all the way to 211, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it definitely is getting me through a lot more content than I was able to do before. And then her effect accuracy down here is at 40%. So again, a lot to be desired here. I'd like to see this upwards of 60, 70% if we could get it that high. Taking a step over to our damage dealer K, again, we've got her in a vigor set with crit rate. We do want her to crit, we want her to do some damage, and we want her to be able to move through her abilities. Probably less necessary for her to be in a vigor set than all of the other people. And the reason for that is whether she's hitting with her A1, A2, or A3, she will be doing damage. And the 5-hitter on her A1 is going to work as effective as the others, just as far as the shield goes, but not as much in damage. So if it gets to her turn and she has to use her A1, it's not the end of the world. Whereas if you get to your healer and they're using their A1 when they really need to be doing their AoE heal, now you're looking at potentially your team dying because you're not topped off with health before Pinvid gets another turn. But anyway, on her build is a little more stat focused in attack percentage, crit rate. We do need hit accuracy, crit damage, but you also need her tanky. So we need HP and defense because she's going to be probably the softest person on your team. She's probably going to be the one that is the closest to dying. So you do kind of need to put her in the 5-star gear or the better gear just to make sure you're getting those extra stats in defense and HP. You can see I'm not even topped off here. This is at level 10. I ran out of gold last night and trying to upgrade and change the team around. And then we've got 3-star boots down here for her HP. So that definitely leaves a lot to be desired. Getting 4-star boots with up to level 10. We did get 2 rolls in crit rate though, so that's pretty good. Over here, we've got her in effect resistance. This is absolutely not at all what I want. So ideally, I'd want crit rate, attack percentage, or if she's dying first, what I'd want is HP or defense. Try to get her a little tankier because at the end of the day, she doesn't have to do a lot of damage. She just has to stay alive. Eventually, you'll bring down the boar. And then again, we're trying to kind of bring her speed up as well. The more turns she gets, the better, your run's going to be a little faster. For this particular strategy, you're not really worried about being fast. So, I wouldn't focus too much on attack speed at this time, more so on making her survivable and getting her crit rate and attack up. So we got attack percentage here, and then we could go speed here. We ended up with defense with some attack speed on there. With the belt, again, effect resistance. That's not what we're looking for, but it's the best piece I have in all of my garbage gear. And then evasion. Now the evasion is not quite necessary yet. If you do get K to chivalry level 8, that's where the evasion steps in, where she can start stacking up turns and just going crazy. More for arena, probably would work in Pinvid as well, but that's why she has the evasion on her there, as I'm trying to build her for arena also. When it comes to Nika, again, we got her in the vigor set. The vigor is going to be important for her. That way when it's her turn, she has a better chance of being able to use her AoE A3 ability to heal everybody. And then I put her in life set, which is going to add to her HP because all of her heals are based on her max HP. So the higher I can get her HP, the better. She is only 5-star 50 though, so if she were going to 6-star, I think you'd see a much bigger increase there. Essentially for Nika, for this, all we're looking for is HP. Maybe a little bit of speed, but you probably don't really need a whole lot of speed on her either. But really, we just want HP. So HP percentage, anywhere we can get it is going to be a huge win. And then having that vigor set is going to be the best case scenario for her. Everything else is just icing on the cake. Defense can work as well to make sure she's tanky, to help her stay alive, but ideally that in HP is going to be a little better because that's going to affect how big her heals are for the team. So we got her flat stat HP. Again, my gear is not amazing. It's just okay. I did get all of her pieces maxed out because she is 5-star 50, except for this guy here, which is more HP. So I could get that up to level 12. That would help me out a little bit as well. And then on the belt, we got effect accuracy. I don't know, she's not even landing any debuffs, so that's probably a complete waste on her. But we got some attack speed out of it. And, you know, all the stats help. All the stats help. But ideally, I think I would build her exclusively in HP. And then on our Turin here, we do kind of the same thing. We're looking for the vigor set to make sure that AoE heal is there. And we're looking to build her HP out as well, because her heals are based on her max HP also. I do think you could interchange either of these characters for other healers. Like if you look at Sarah, on her A3, I think it's an AoE heal all allies of her max HP. So you could use Sarah in that space. I believe, let's take a look, in Arduin somewhere back here. I think she has the AoE heals all allies of her attack. So you'd build her differently. But she would heal all the allies and removes one debuff. So that's actually pretty good. A debuff. Most people say a debuff, but you know, today it's a debuff. I don't know. It just felt right when I said it. But she would definitely work in this space. And then the other healer is Clementine, and I think attacks one enemy. I thought she had an AoE, independent chance to heal each ally. Each ally. So that, yeah, I think this is an AoE. This is going to be an AoE heal of 7.9%. So you would actually be spamming her A2 instead of the A3, which actually could be a benefit if you have her built. On the Chivalry front, I do have Morgan. I've pulled 3 copies of her, so it's pretty exciting. I do have her on level 2 Chivalry. Sometimes when you're watching videos on whether or not a team is working, there's a lot of things going on with a character that can really change how they're affecting things. So one thing I will say is on this second Chivalry level, her attack gauge reduction is increased by 15%. So that is going to be a pretty big win. On her first, Oath of Valor, this is going to help with damage, but it's not really going to make or break or change what we saw today, other than how fast the run is and the damage that Kay is dealing, because she is going to give that to all the allies. But the added reduction of speed is going to help you probably more than you'd really think. But she does have that ability already in her kit to do gauge reduction on that A2, so it will work. It just may not work quite as well. But as you can see, like with the 2 healers, you get multiple turns before Pinvid gets another turn, so you'll have the opportunity to top off your health. So I don't know the damage or the attack gauge reduction extra is actually necessary. I don't think it really is. On Kay, if we look at Chivalry, I have got her up to Chivalry level 5. I cannot wait. I'm so anxious to get this level 8. Again, we got extra damage here with crit rate and attack, extra evasion. We've got, what do we got? Nil grant self, damage, more damage with the crit rate, using a skill, charges more attack gauge to charge. So I don't think, all of it is going to be helpful, but I don't think any of it is necessary. You should be able to roll through this with a Kay Chivalry level 0, and she would function basically the same way. The only thing is it would take longer because she's not doing quite as much damage. My Nika doesn't have any Chivalries at all, and she's a 5-star 50, so we're looking to actually level her up and get her to 6 stars. I do have the Awakenings. I think 3-star Awakening is probably going to be super helpful because you get those extra 2 pieces of gear that are going to add to your stats and give you a little more survivability and a little more HP or whatever you need on any individual champion, which is going to be super helpful as far as keeping your team alive and doing a little extra damage. Turin, I am on Chivalry level 8. I put a lot of energy into her early on, used some extra things here because I heard that this is the best to get to level 8, and she was my first champion I got there. Don't think it was a bad choice. Hindsight, it would have been better to go to K, I think. But a lot of what she brings to the table is available without any chivalry at all. This is, again, just going to enhance it. But with 2 AoE healers, she doesn't need to perform amazing. She just has to do okay. And if you have 2 that are performing okay, you should be in a good spot to really push your account forward. So I'm gonna jump back into to Pinvid here. I still have 9 of those mythic orbs to get so I can move Nika up to level 6 star. But that's what I got for you today. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. I was looking for different ways that I hadn't seen, and if somebody's put a video out on that and I'm copying it, I apologize. That wasn't my intention. But it was just trying to look at the champions I had and trying to figure out how I could get through the highest level boar with the least amount of gear, the least amount of stats, like all the things. And I think this strategy, though it is not fast, will allow you to progress your account and get those mythical orbs going so you can get more and more 6 stars on your account. I appreciate you sticking with me all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you next time.